gamers and F1 enthusiasts, and regardless of that, anyone who's here to support their friend who's driving in the Bwoah Racing League, welcome to the Canadian GP.
Your voice is breaking a lot.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Either way, I'm here, Satak, with Rudra. What's up, Rudra?
I can't hear a single thing, Sarthak.
And as I set up the stream for Rudra, he'll take you through what we have for today. And it's the driver's lobby up. It'll be a shock qualifying followed by a race, 50% race distance at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Rudra, are you with me?
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Your voice is breaking a lot.
Oops. Okay.
Even the stream audio is breaking. Something's wrong. And for those of you who are joining in to spectate the Canadian GP, drop in the chat who you're here for. If your friend's driving in a particular team, make sure you highlight their name. Fantastic bunch of drivers here today. Accelerate, who won the Monaco GP, which was chaotic to say the least. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. He's back. He's gonna look forward to having a repeat of Monaco itself. Drives under the Monaco flag in the Bwoah Racing League. KDB, who took P2 in Monaco as well, he'll be looking forward for another win just like he did in Baku. And Big Man Joe, the Drivers' Championship leader, who held on to it thanks to his P3 finish in Monaco. Hello, Sarthak. Sorry for the technical issues,
No
but now
worries,
everything
Rudra.
is sorted.
Cool. And let's just get into it. Sessions in progress. Shock qualifying, 18 minutes for each driver to set the fastest time possible. Who do you think will come out on top? Which car do you think will have the advantage, Rudra?
I mean, on the top of my head, I would just say that it's going to be either one of Big Man Joe, Drunken Monkey, or KDB. But looking at Accelerate's performance in the last race, he might look to continue his form this time as well.
For sure he will. Like I mentioned earlier, 17 minutes 35 seconds left for shock qualifying as we are at Canada. What do you think about the circuit though? And 17 minutes left for the qualifying to end as Freeze is on his out lap. quite the chap. Didn't have quite the race in Monaco though. Crashed out after losing his front wing at turn 1 and turn 2. Of course, when the rain was out, no less. Setu RC18 had quite a race in Monaco. The team as a whole, Haas, is been doing well. They've been quite proactive with respect to team radio. They've been good with a lot of aspects. They really gel well as teammates, Setu RC18 and UK.
That is very true. And another surprising thing was that it was Setu who scored the points for Haas last race rather than UK. That is something which we did not expect in the start.
Of course.
Yeah, great pairing for both of them.
For sure. And if only we could get in on their team radio. I mean, imagine they're on their radio even when they're battling out each other on track.
What matters the most at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Teamwork is what wins you races as well.
Sure, not the ideal bunch of races, the previous two for the Renault team.
Ooh, almost losing his footing. And I think he did damage his front wing.
Yeah, I think he
God
did.
has damaged his front wing before he happened.
Yep, looks like it. Could be. Yep, I think he's missing an end plate there.
Yeah, he almost crashed into the wall, saved himself, but could not save the front wing side.
Yep, he couldn't. Not ideal. Like, as I was saying, Renault hasn't been having the greatest of races in the Bwoah Racing League. Both Gauts and Mr. Vex are usually backmarkers compared to the initial couple of races they raced, where they were actually fighting in the top 10, if not the top 5.
If you were to look at the trajectory, both of them went from competing in the mid-table to like dropping off pretty much at the end, but Gotham was actually scoring points as well for Renault. I mean, it is really a string of bad luck of races, but hopefully Canada helps them turn it around.
Yep.
The track really suits both the drivers, as from what I have seen, the way they drive, and let's see if that changes things.
Yep, and as we were speaking about Renault, Mr. Vex had a little bit of off moment, and they're incredibly slow here. What's wrong with Rocketman and Mr. Vex? Okay, I'm guessing they're just being dignified. Meanwhile, drivers are setting their lap times. KDB with the fastest lap, 1 minute 10.837 in the Williams.
Another interesting thing that we might see today is that we will finally have our first driver to break the 100 points barrier. Big Man Joe currently sits at a 99 points after 6 races, and close on his tail is the supreme leader with 83 points. But if I had to put my money on anyone, it would be Big Man Joe crossing the 100 before supreme leader does.
Of course, he's managing to hold on to that top spot for a while now, regardless of the Racing Point dominance prior to Monaco itself. About Racing Point now, what do you think? Do you think they'll be able to pull off something cool this race?
Hope so, but given the last race, how they finished in the bottom half of the top 10, wasn't a spectacular show from them. But again, Monaco is not something the car is suited for, and with Canada's long winding corners, I think they might get an edge here.
They could indeed. Looks like Thunderbird's on his hot lap. He had quite the race too. Finished in the top 5 with his teammate winning the race in Monaco. Toro Rosso. Who would have thought, compared to the Red Bull, Toro Rosso seems like a stronger team.
If I have to point it out, Junior Red Bull is more of Red Bull than the actual Red Bull.
Yeah, indeed.
Still, what a fantastic race from Accelerate. I mean, it was beyond anybody's expectation. Not only did he manage the first place, he also got the fastest laps, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, he did. And we got to talk
He
to
took
him a
all
bit.
the 26 points home.
Good work. Would have helped him real hard in the Drivers' Championship. Thunderbird coming across. Of course, speaking of which, as he comes across this part of the track, the Wall of Champions. Your thoughts? Do you think he'll catch a couple of drivers off guard?
Sadak, I had a bit of a technical glitch. Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, sure. I said, speaking of Canada and the track itself, Wall of Champions, right? Catches a lot of drivers off guard in the real world. Your thoughts on that part of the track?
I mean, if based on anything I've seen so far, it would not surprise me to see at least 2 casualties today at the wall. But I think people might be able to avoid it, but it's gonna compromise a lot on the times for sure.
Yep. Sector 2 has a yellow flag, and that's the part McLaren and Renault. It looks like a Renault though, with the issue. Yep, yellow flag. For some reason. Regardless, KDB still has the fastest lap. Freeze, surprisingly, up top, right behind him in the Mercedes AMG.
The yellow flag might have to do with some debris on the track, perhaps, because I don't see any cars.
And looks like we lost connection with Rudra. Regardless, as we move forward, KDB still holds the fastest lap with 1 minute 10.837. Rusty Nish is back to hopefully do a better job as he lets the Racing Point through. Seems like an issue of sorts. And we are back. Hold tight as we're on board the McLaren as I try to get Rudra back.
Hello?
Yes, you are back, and we solved a minor issue regardless of.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think the internet is trying to stop me from watching the Canadian GP, but that's not gonna happen.
Yep. I guess we need to tend to ignore the issues as Big Man Joe incredibly slow on that part of the track, letting Rusty Nish through.
It might just be a show of respect because everybody needs to get some clean air in front of them.
I'm hoping you can see Rusty Nish's car steaming ahead as Freeze retires from the session itself.
Yes, I do indeed.
Seems like he had a bit of a moment on track, causing him to retire from the session. KDB still with the fastest lap. 8 minutes to go at Canada. Shock qualifying. Mr. Wex on his outlap UK in the pits. And the Supreme Leader does one better by beating Freeze's time. Freeze retiring that early on isn't gonna help him one bit. Doesn't seem like a time that can't be beaten. But still, they're all over 2/10ths of a second off of KDB.
So he desperately needs the position in this GP. Mercedes have not had a fantastic start to the season, and they currently sit dead last on the table.
Disastrous, no doubt, as he's close there on the main straight. Mr. Wex will begin his hot lap. And the Ferrari just came out there.
Mr. Wex has been a good boy of recently because if you might recollect, he's on 4 penalty points ever since 2 GPs ago, and he's bidding his time very, very patiently on the 5th penalty point.
True. And once he gets that 5th penalty point, he'll have to serve a 5-place grid penalty in the following race. So let's hope he doesn't get one here. Big Man Joe with the fastest lap in the Alfa Romeo racing car. 1 minute 10.760.
Surprise. I don't think so.
Yeah. Bit of a moment for Mr. Wex. He was on his fast lap, but unfortunately couldn't complete it. Had a bit of an issue going into a certain turn. Big Man Joe, KDB, and the Supreme Leader at the top as there's 6 minutes left for the shock qualifying.
Mr. Wex trying to heat his tires. I think he might just go for another hot lap directly. Yes, he does.
And UK is out on his outlap. Both the Haas close by as Accelerate sets the fastest time, 1 minute 10.555.
No, that's brilliant. Wow.
And Mr. Wex doesn't seem like he is having a good day. Why is he on the grass?
He can't pass through, but the problem has been there since the last lap. Mr. Wex just not able to get the momentum.
There's a Red Bull off track there. Supreme Leader currently P4. Comes around there. It is not Mr. Vex's day as Setu RC18 comes out of the pits on his out lap to set the fastest lap, possibly putting him in the top 5 as Ferrari and Haas meet. They touched there as Setu RC came out of the pits. Could have messed up the Ferrari's fast lap.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we still have enough time for 2 more laps, I'd say.
For sure, 4 minutes left as Sector 3 goes yellow. Quite a bit of cars slowing down. Looks like marginally pretty much everyone has set a decent time, but really disappointing to see a Ferrari in the bottom. Are these two racing right now, Haas and Ferrari?
Looks like it, but they cannot afford such fuel. It's just gonna cost them tens, maybe hundreds of seconds even.
Yep, it'll be taken up with the stewards for sure. And he goes right into the pits. Supreme Leader. Meanwhile, Vix356 gets in the mix on top. Sets a P4 time. So that's fairly decent. Looks like Racing Point in the element once again as we look at the Wall of Champions. That is the Wall of Champions, am I wrong?
Yeah, I think you're right, but Supreme Leader is not having the best of qualifiers. Shockingly.
Shockingly indeed. Both the Racing Points in the top 6, along with a Williams, Toro Rosso, Alfa Romeo, and a Haas. Accelerate still holds the fastest lap. 1 minute 10.555. He's come out on his out lap. He's going to look forward to better that time. UK, Vix356 both in the pits along with Big Man Joe. I'm guessing they will come out any moment now, considering there's only 2 minutes to go. Accelerate on his out lap will be ready to set another lap, hoping to better his time soon.
The Monaco GP has really given Accelerator a huge boost of confidence, and it shows right here.
Yes, it does. And we were right, Rudra. That is the Wall of Champions 13 and 14. The penultimate and the last turn of the track.
Your voice seemed to have break. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. Accelerate has still set the
Yeah.
fastest time. And as I was saying, Wall of Champions is the wall at the last turn of the track.
Yeah. Pretty exciting to see duels heading into the Wall of Champions. Sure, we might see some sort of mischievous behavior that would end up with one of them slapping on the wall.
And 50 seconds to go, almost less than a minute to go here at Canada. Big Man Joe has just left the session, which means his track time, his fastest lap time will be set as 1 minute 10.760. Sector 3 has a yellow flag as the racing point is out of the track. Is that Wix 356? No, it was the Supreme Leader who went out, as so did Wix 356. The spin as rain drizzles down at the last.
And I think he crashes into the wall of champions.
Unfortunate. A lot of cars.
There's another car at the back, yes.
Indeed. A little bit of chaos at the end of the Canadian GP's qualifying. Accelerate.
It's either a silly mistake or a masterstroke.
Yep,
We may never know.
And as the time wraps up, Accelerate remains on pole. Big Man Joe on P2 and KDB in P3. The top 3 podium finishers of Monaco GP will start in the front at Canada.
I noticed just now that the top 10 are separated by less than a second. I mean, wow. The race is going to be even more interesting.
Incredible, you rarely get to see that. That's why Bwoah Racing League.
That's where the fun's at. You guys might want to switch from F1 TV to, Bwoah TV.
Of course. Rocket Man having a little bit of fun here. Off track. And that's a wrap of the qualifying session at the Bwoah Racing League's Canadian GP. Race thoughts, Rudra?
I mean, given how close the top 10 are to each other, we might see 2 different battles going on today. I mean, I would only see the front leaders fighting it amongst themselves and the back markers struggling to get into the top 10. And I don't expect to see any more grid changes at the end of the race.
So if you noticed, Freeze held on to his top 10 position the time he set. So I'm guessing a possible fight for the podium itself by the Mercedes AMG Petronas team.
I mean, that's fortunate for him and for Mercedes because they desperately need to get out of the point zone. Red Bull finally removed the duck in their score line and made it 10 points, which saw them jump over Mercedes. And so far, the worst performing team was Red Bull, but now the tag goes to Mercedes if they don't pick up.
Disappointing, and we shall see as we wait, in fact, as the drivers choose their strategies, choose what they feel is right for the race, which will put them in a perfect position when they cross the finish line.
Yes, indeed. And here we can see the Ferrari paddock. I mean, I only see 2 people, 3 people in the paddock, and I think that might be their Ferrari strategists. Don't you think so?
Yep, let's hope they're better than the ones in the real world, eh? Regardless, as we wait, Supreme Leader KDB, Cygnus Raghavan seems like they're ready. 7 seconds for the session to start. I don't think Big Man Joe has reconnected yet. So this could be an issue. Let's see how it goes. Race start. Yep, and as the red lights pop up, we are ready to go at Canada, and they steam ahead with Accelerate, trying to push as much as he can. Big Man Joe gets ahead. KDB fighting there too. Big Man Joe pulls away quite a bit there. Back there, both the racing points.
Fantastic start from Big Man Joe.
Yep, both the racing points finding a little bit with the Williams back there. Sector 1 yellow flag already. Steaming ahead and yellow flag. No one can overtake under yellow flag. Cars are closer than ever. McLaren of Rusty Nish. Thunderbird right behind him. Debris, a little bit of debris. Freeze has fallen all the way to P16. Rocket Man is at the back of the pack. It's an Alfa Romeo leader and an Alfa Romeo back marker.
Showing everyone now.
Talk about contrast, eh? And let's just stay with the Wall of Champions. Let's see if anyone, looks like the Renault and the Ferrari are having quite a moment there, battling it out. Up they are, Srivatsan 10 on the tail of Gouts.
We will definitely be keeping our eye out on Ferrari and Renault both, because they are on pretty similar level right now, if I'm not wrong.
They touch?
Yes, indeed. Ferrari has 23 points and Renault has 20 points. So whoever finishes better gets to jump up a position.
Meanwhile, Rusty Nish got slapped with a 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings. Renault and Ferrari closer than ever. They're touching. Gouts holds on to that position pretty well. Meanwhile, the other Renaults fighting with the racing point ahead. Mr. Wex and the Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader comes out on top.
Saw 3 wide over there, didn't we?
Yep. Almost. And a little bit of moment.
Somebody was gonna go and kiss the Wall of Champions very early in the race.
Yep, very early indeed, and I think it was a Haas. I'm surprised they're maintaining the gap. Like you said before the race started, the top 10 are within a second of each other. And clearly you can see that even 3 laps after the race, they're so close.
We want to separate this bunch until at least midway through the race, for sure.
For sure, as Accelerate right there with Big Man Joe. KDB has taken the lead. Meanwhile, out of nowhere, they come through the hairpin. Big Man Joe tries, nope. Accelerate real close behind. A little wide there for Vix 356. UK surely behind him, Mr. Wex as well. He will take slipstream. The Supreme Leader, will he dive down the inside? Yes, he does. Gets that position back from Mr. Wex.
Gets the DRS for the next stretch as well.
Yep, they will. Setu RC 18, everybody coming around the last corner. Almost nicked the wall there, Thunderbird. Right behind Rusty Nish. Rocketman ahead of Thor now, whose AI is currently driving. And in front, KDB does good job in holding that position, but with his rivals right behind him within a second, not ideal. Still the top 5 within a second of each other.
Even the tiniest of mistakes can prove very, very costly at this point.
For sure. KDB doing a spectacular job. We have noticed street circuits is something which plays into his driving style. And as the gap becomes bigger, as they try to conserve their tires, I'm sure everybody in the top 9 are on softs. KDB sets the fastest lap. Ferrari too close to comfort there as he will dive down the inside of Gauts. Gauts closes that door real quick. Spectacular reflexes. And he spins, Ferrari spins, loses part of his front wing. He's on sector 1 in the middle of the track, resets himself. Will lose quite a bit of position there. Führer passes by. 3-second time penalty for Rusty Nish.
UK as well.
UK, yep.
Watson losing 3 positions there, but that is not as much as losing time through the pit stop now. His front wing is significantly damaged.
Yep, and Rocketman has made quite the climb as he dives down the inside of the Ferrari this time, and they'll go over each other. What is happening?
My god. Yeah, that might be the lag to blame.
And he goes, he's gone, Rocketman. Rocketman has crashed after that ferocious battle with that Ferrari.
That was a very silly move to do. That was completely unnecessary. I don't know what Rocketman was thinking at that point.
Seemed like he had the gap. Seemed like he could have taken that line, but he just closed the door. I feel Srivatsan, the stewards will review that clip, but it seemed like he had the window open. Of course, he goes into the pits. I'm surprised how Srivatsan hasn't. As you can see, Srivatsan, he's lost both his end plates. He's got a yellow wing for sure.
Rocketman should have seen that coming. If you try to overtake any car without a functioning front wing, you will get caught in the crossfire as well.
Yep, indeed. What a moment though. I mean, his car literally went over the Ferrari. And it could be 3 cars side by side soon, as it's Big 356 Mr. Vex UK almost side to side, wheel to wheel. UK tries to dive, nope, and Vix 356 goes into the pit. Down the main straight, 3-second time.
Getting a 3-second penalty for the corner cutting we saw. There were multiple warnings as well.
Indeed. Quite a bit of a drop. Vix 356 will come out with mediums.
So far.
Setu RC18 has to worry about the supreme leader on his tail soon. Srivatsan 10 finally pits. For a moment there, as both the Ferraris at the back of the back. 3-second time penalty for freeze. KDB holds the race lead. Big Man Joe with half a second away from him. Gap's real small, and considering that Williams does lack in pace, could the Alfa Romeo come out on top in a couple of laps? Speeding in the pit lane penalty for Mr. Vex.
The race is soon going out of hand for Mr.
And another loss in connection. Regardless, KDB holding the race lead. On board KDB. As he enters sector 2, Big Banjo still just over half a second away from him. Accelerate behind him as well. KDB will approach a back marker anytime now. Srivatsan 10 gets 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings. Cygnus Raghavan incredibly slow. And the gap seems to be only increasing between Big Man Joe and KDB. Accelerate over 2 seconds away from the two drivers leading this race almost. They're gonna switch soon, I'm sure, and accelerate into the pits. Seems like everyone coming in for mediums.
I wonder if any of the top 10 would directly go for hards and try to pull off a one-stop.
I think Freeze is trying that. He was in the top 10 and he is on the hards right now.
As well as Srivatsan and Rocketman. So you never know. The thing about Canada is you can get away with tire wear. It's not as cruel as, let's say, Singapore or some other circuit, but you need to manage your tires very, very well.
Yep. And as the race leaders went into the pits, UK is surprisingly leading this race. The Haas of UK KDB is behind him, over 5 seconds away. Could he pull it off? Could he stay out an extra lap and actually benefit Rusty Nish and accelerate? Battling it out here for P4. Rusty Nish has Thunderbird on his tail. Thunderbird will dive down the outside. Inside into the corner. Tries, nope, too wide. Thunderbird tries his luck, doesn't quite get it. Meanwhile, Vix 356 and Gouts battling it out right behind them for P6. P7, no doubt. And he's trying to get through him. Trying to get past him. He will try again. Thunderbird wheel to wheel as they come at the penultimate corner. Will come out on top as Rusty Nish goes into the pits. Thunderbird has Vix 356 to worry about now. As he dives down the inside, Vix 356 will get that overtake and that position. P4 for Vix 356. Well driven. Second time penalty for Mr. Wex. Those time penalties are going to cost him at the end of the race. On board Thunderbird as he gets DRS. Rudra, are you with me? Guess not. Little bit of an off moment there as Supreme Leader and Gouts were fighting. Supreme Leader came out on top there. Gouts and Vex together. Could they be fighting in no time? Seems like they're closer than ever. Yes, they are. Mr. Vex will get DRS. Will he dive down the inside? Yes, he will. There's wheel to wheel the Renaults coming into the corner. Will anyone go into the pits? Yes. Off he goes into the pits. Gouts for a chain of tires.
He pulled the tires off for 9 laps. I mean, that is very, very good maintaining.
Indeed, Setu RC will get ahead of Gouts as well. Rusty Nish could just about manage to get ahead. Yep, he will. So will Freeze. Gouts will come out P12. Srivatsan 10 gets a multiple warnings. After multiple warnings, a time penalty. Rocket Man with the hard tires, P15. Meanwhile, UK did pit and came out with the mediums, put him at P8 right ahead of his teammate, who's awfully close to him. KDB still holds on to the race lead. Big Man Joe right behind him. Over 1.5 seconds away, to be honest. 1.295 away. Accelerate as quite a bit of a mix-up near the wall of champions. Renault, Toro Rosso and Haas. And both the Haas drivers are close. They do communicate even when they're battling each other. So this will be interesting to see what the decision will be amongst the drivers themselves. He's now letting go of that gap as Big Man Joe gets a 3-second time penalty. Could cost him considering Accelerate is only a second away from him. Precision driving. Could we see a formation lap kind of situation here? Horses are wheel to wheel. Almost penultimate corner. Last corner. Almost. Nope. Wheel to wheel it is. Both horses and Setu RC18 will get that position. Nope. UK holds on to that position. Thunderbird sector 2 yellow flag as DNF for Srivatsan 10 wasn't his race to begin with. Not ideal one bit. Could we see his car? Nope, we will not.
Ferrari's hopes were lying on Srivatsan for this race, but now it's up to Daniel Avocado to avenge himself from the Monaco disaster.
Yep, it is, and seems like they have cleared his car. KDB holds on to that race lead. Sector 3 yellow flag. Doesn't seem like a safety car's out. Neither is a virtual safety car. Decided. And yep, Thunderbird and UK fighting. And looks like UK will get the better of that fight. Setu RC18 will try and slide by as well, as the horses are giving that Toro Rosso a tough time. On board Thunderbird as he's got UK in front and Setu RC18 on his tail. He's gonna feel bullied here. It's a Haas Toro Rosso. Haas and Setu RC18 peaks a bit along the inside on his tail. Down the main straight they come. And Setu RC18 tries again around the outside. This time around doesn't. He's edging.
Finish his move by the end of the lap, from the looks of it.
He's edging. He wants to be back with his teammate. They want that formation to stay, but Thunderbird's holding him off quite well. Nope. Dives around the outside.
Ooh. Thunderbird having a moment over there, did not make the cleanest of corner turns.
Surprisingly holds on to the position. Wheel to wheel they go, and yep, Setu RC18 will come out on top there. But the gap to his teammate, which used to be less than a second, is now over 3.5 seconds. Three-second time penalty for accelerate after multiple warnings, as we are at the wall of champions. And yep, he will try again, Thunderbird, to regain his position. Everyone being very cautious of the wall there.
Yeah, nobody's a fan of that wall, but it did see some visitors so far. None staying over though.
Yep, none
Just
staying
visiting.
over. Yep. Srivatsan 10 got caught off at sector 2. We don't know what really happened, but of course, bad race for him to say the least.
Yo, Sarthak, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Srivatsan 10, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. It's me.
Yeah, we were just talking about you. You were saying we don't know what happened to you, that you DNF'd, but give us an idea what went down. What happened?
Technical issues again. There was just too much lag. There is like way too much lag. Undrivable amount of lag.
Oops.
So like.
Okay. Force your hand to
Yeah, I couldn't do much. I was not even able to see anything. Like the cars were moving front and back. I was having a moment with I think Gouds, I guess. Like when I was near him, his car was moving front and ahead. Like I had no clue what was going on, and then like the game used to just stop for 2 seconds and all that stuff.
Yeah, talk us through that little bit of a moment with Rocky Man. It looked like there was a little bit of a glitch, but it looked like the cars were going on top of each other.
Yeah, actually I ghosted through him. Like in my POV, it didn't feel like I touched him. His car just ghosted and I went through him. But when I saw behind, I saw that his rear had flipped and he was spinning, I guess.
Yep, he did at the end. I mean, that battle turned out to be that way. But you were missing both your wheels end plates. Sorry, not wheel, wings end plates.
No, actually I didn't have any damage over there.
Yeah? Prior to that, it looked
Yeah.
like you did. Yellow wing at least?
No, 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 no. Till I guess I was having a battle with Gouts. I was trying to get my position back. I spun in turn one. No, so turn two. Sorry, that was
Uh-huh.
the time I got a considerable amount of wing damage because of the lag. But during the Rocket Man incident, I didn't have any damage. Even I was surprised myself because I just ghosted through him. I
Okay.
expected some damage over there, but I just ghosted through him. So it's just lag. I guess there's nothing I can do about it.
Alright. Yep. Thank you for joining us, Srivatsan 10.
Sure, sure, Satak.
You can stay if you like, as Thunderbird and Gouts seem to have a bit of a moment.
I'll try my hand at staying with you in commentary box then.
Yeah, why
I just
not?
announced my retirement from BRL
Oh?
for temporarily right now in the group.
Oh, you did? How come?
No point racing with this laptop, man.
I'm sure gear is crucial for virtual races, as Rocket Man and Sicknick seem to be having a bit of a moment. Thoughts on Rocket Man?
Uh, he's actually a pretty good driver. He used to get a lot of race wins earlier in the last season.
Yeah?
I guess he's just like he's taking his time to get in the groove this season till now. I expect some good performances from him. I guess my lag issue has spoiled his race for now in Canada at least. But you can expect him to put on a strong show. He's one of our finest drivers, I would say.
Yeah, there was a moment where initially there was an Alfa Romeo leading the race and the Alfa Romeo back marker in P20 almost, P19.
Yeah, that's just sad, man. Like both Danny and Rocketman are really good drivers. You can like before the season, people might have expected them to be on top of the constructors table, but then we all have our bad luck, don't we?
Yep, KDB did a little bit of a drift back there. He's the race leader, medium tires, 9 laps is the tire life. All three front runners have 9 laps done on their medium tires. I'm guessing you can see the onboard of KDB.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. And Supreme Leader and Mr. Vex having a moment here. Mr. Vex on Supreme Leader's tail. He will dive down the inside any moment now. Will he? Nope, he does not.
I guess he saw there was no space over there and he just decided to leave the move for later, I guess.
Yep, and the gap only seems to be increasing. Freeze
Yeah,
on the...
Supreme Leader seems to be pulling away from now.
Yep. Thoughts on the hard tire strategy?
I just went into the hard tires because of the damage, but I don't think hards is the tire you should go on in Canada. Like I guess medium softs or soft medium will be the best strategy for now to be in the top 5 positions, I guess, because hards just makes you very slow in Canada.
Yep. And Freeze is the one with the hard tires. Mercedes AMG seems like they could have a good race here if Freeze does get a few points. Will be interesting to see. Rusty Nish is at P9, 19 laps up, over 16 laps to go.
One thing we should keep a close eye on is the time penalties over there. Everybody seems to be racking up 3-second time penalties like Monaco over here because of the street corner cutting.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see who misses out on whose positions.
Yes,
at the last.
Yes, it will at the end. Rightly said. Führer and Thor battling it out at the back of the pack. But I'm a little skeptical on who's the AI and who's the driver. Or are both AIs?
Führer is AI, I guess.
Then so is Thor. So we're looking at a...
Yeah, both the AIs are battling it out.
Yeah. AI versus AI.
Maybe we should just give the AIs a little bit of screen time like Monaco.
Yeah,
huh?
like actually considering Cygnus Raghavan's finish, Cygnus Raghavan's AI's finish in Monaco, it was a 5th place for the AI.
Yeah, the AI seems to be doing better than some drivers in Monaco.
Yeah. Yep. Accelerate. Meanwhile, P2, Big Man Joe fallen to P3. He was leading the race at a particular point in time into the race. Rusty Nish with the 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings as well. Both the racing points together now. So are both the horses. Mr. Wex dividing the two teams. Will we finally have a good race for Mr. Wex?
He seems to be pretty fast in Canada compared to other races. You could see him putting in fastest laps in the initial stages.
And we were just talking about him having a good race, and he got slapped with a 3-second time penalty again.
Commentators curse.
Yep, commentators curse. As you're on board UK Setu RC18, 7 seconds apart. 5-second time penalty for Thunderbird. Mr. Wex.
An interesting fact that I saw now is that if Accelerate keeps his place in the podium, he will actually jump to number 4 in the driver's standings, regardless of the other results.
Wow, that's incredible. That will be good for both him and the team itself.
Really, Monaco did a number on Accelerate, and like, we could not be happier. I mean, you could see his driving has changed considerably from how it was during the Chinese GP.
Yes, it has. And his DNS has really caught him off guard. On the tail of the supreme leader, Mr. Wex, he will get DRS here. Will he try to dive down the inside? It's a question. No, he doesn't. The gap is just a little bit too much. He's off into the pits.
Dived into the pits instead of dive bombing supreme leader.
Yes. A lot of the front runners into the pits.
I guess they're all doing their second stop, I guess.
Yes.
Soft, medium strategy. They're all going for another medium now. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Man Joe coming out in the hards. He's the only driver.
Oh, he's going for a gamble over here. I guess he's doing a soft, medium hard then.
Yes, he is.
He does not want to make that extra pit stop, I guess.
Yep, doesn't seem
He's
like
going
it.
for a gamble. It might work out for him. It might work out pretty well if he's able to manage the hards really well towards the end of the race.
We shall see. 13 laps to go at Canada. Freeze swaying around.
Man, Joe seems to be having a little bit of struggle down there in P5 and 7 seconds behind UK. I did not predict this at all. What about you, Sarthak?
Neither did I. I mean, he did hold the race lead in the beginning. He did get that jump at turn 1. But now he's at P5. But hard tires, like Sri Watson said, this could be a gamble that could pay off as Renault and Mercedes AMG fight it out here. Mr. Wex will try to dive down the outside, the inside of Freeze. Will get that position. Blocks him off. Spectacular driving by the Renault. And Freeze into the pits. Every time two drivers are battling it out in Canada, they're going off into the pits instead of fighting for position again.
Maybe they're a tad bit too scared of the Wall of Champions and would rather take a pit lane, you know?
Could be. We saw it previously as
Big
well.
Man Joe jumped ahead to P3.
Yep, as a couple of the drivers pit. Good eye, Srivatsan. Big Man Joe is at P3.
I think this hards gamble is going to pay off for him. Both Accelerate and KDB are on their mediums right now. So you can expect them to pit at around, say, lap 28, 29 maybe, and go for the last stint with stops. And in that time, Big Man Joe wouldn't have to pit, I guess, because he got his hards back a couple of laps.
Yep.
So maybe we can see a Big Man Joe racing over here.
Could be, as the horses are back at it with Thunderbird. They've been bullying Thunderbird for quite some time now. A little bit of a shunt by Setu RC18 on Thunderbird.
By the way, since we have a Ferrari driver with us right here in the box, I wanted to ask you, Watson, do you think that you'll be able to salvage your season along with Avocado, or do you think this season is more about rebuilding yourselves?
I guess if the technical glitches were not happening with me, we would be in a much better place at the points table by now. But then, we could have done a really good build-up, but
the technical glitches is what it's been like bothering us a lot. I could have got a P5 in Monaco, ended up being beaten because of a technical glitch again, like
Yes,
technical issues with my
yes,
laptop.
indeed, we did see that.
Yep.
Uh,
And
it's
What,
been a
since you mentioned Monaco, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about Avocado's race for Monaco? Because we in the Communist Walks were having a jolly time seeing that, as well as feeling sad, and I wanted to know your reaction as well.
well, he's just trying to pick up with the game. He's pretty new to the game compared to the other drivers. He's trying to pick up his game, I guess. So I expect him to get better in the race in the coming races. So you never know.
Yes, indeed, we see a lot of potential. It might just take a little bit more time.
And that's the way the grid is designed, like they were like it's a pretty complex way we put the drivers in separate teams. The idea was to like the way the grid is usually lined up right now is you see one good driver who can carry the team and another driver who can just help him get the other points, I guess. Except for Racing Point.
Racing Point.
They both seem to be doing
Yep.
really well.
Yes.
Apart from that, in the other teams, you have Williams, you see KDB rocking up all the points, and Toro Rosso is also a pretty good team. Like RP, both the drivers are really good, but you see XLR8 picking up more points than Thunderbird. So is the case with Renault, and Haas is another good team. They both have been getting points consistently, but if you could look at the general trend, you can see one driver carrying the team and the other driver just trying to get some other points. That's just how the grid has been designed for the season.
Yep.
Very
And like
true. There's a lot of number one and number two systems here.
yes, and like you brought up Thunderbird, he has lost his position to Seto RC18. Both the horses have bullied their way into positions ahead.
Haas is trying to copy their real life team and just bully their way. I think Wintersteiner exists for their team radio as well.
Yep. Hypothetically, could be Vix 356 and the Supreme Leader within 2 seconds of each other. Both the RPs. Vix 356 on the tail of Big Man Joe right now. Will he try something? He's on his tail. He dives down the inside. Yup, he'll get that position. Will he keep it? Around the corner they come. Yes, he will.
I expect Big Man Joe to take that position back when Vix spits. Vix seems to be on the soft, medium tires right now, so another
Yes.
couple of laps. I expect him to dive into the pits and change his tires to softs.
Looks like
I'm
Gauts
just
and
waiting for what's gonna happen with Big Man Joe for the remaining 7 laps, because this seems to be a very interesting scenario.
yes, we will find out with regard to strategy. Gauts and Rocket Man seem to be fighting it out for P12. They were while we were on Big Man Joe. Let's see if he'll try it again. 3-second time.
Started just before the race started. We just had a tiny bit of conversation with Gods, and he was feeling pretty good today. And I think that is showing right now.
Yep.
But let's just hope that he can crack the P10 mark, because that is really what would make his intentions
Rocket
clear.
Man just hit the wall there a little bit.
Yes, he did. Lost his wings end plate there.
Supreme Leader seems to have overtaken Big Man Joe now.
Yes, they have both the racing points ahead of the Alfa Romeo frontrunner. Meanwhile, Supreme Leader and one of the other drivers in the front got slapped with a 3-second time penalty as well.
Thunderbird again gets a
Yep.
3-second time.
So does Rusty Nish. Real close to comfort there for the Toro Rosso.
What you're seeing right now is exactly the kind of fear everyone had, that Big Man Joe would be losing a lot of pace, but he could make it up in the pit stop times that the others will waste on. So
Yup.
it is a gamble, but we cannot really see the result until maybe the 30th or 31st lap.
Let's look forward to it as Accelerate less than half a
Ah.
second close to KDB.
Thunderbird already seems to have moved to the softs, and I expect him to complete the race with a set of tires. So we might see him gaining a couple of positions over here towards the end laps.
Yeah, 7 laps to go. It's anyone's guess. And
like you can all the positions from 6 to 9 are on their medium tires, I guess, and Thunderbird seems to be on his softs, so we can expect him to gain some positions over here.
yeah, and he just set the fastest lap time as well.
Softs seems to be working like magic, don't they?
Yep, softs work their magic indeed. Supreme Leader ahead of his teammate now, as Big Man Joe fights with Supreme Leader. Sorry, Vix 356.
Almost ended up crashing their front wings. I actually thought Big Man Joe lost his front wings there.
And on board Big Man Joe, he will try and get around him. He is on the hard tires like Shivansan 10 said so. Round the inside.
Corner cutting there. That was not the cleanest.
Vix has spun in
Yep.
that battle.
Vix has spun. Vix did spin.
I guess he
And
was trying to.
looks like Big Man Joe's falling. He has an issue.
He seems to be stuck on a gear. I think he might be having gearbox issues.
That battle costed him and Vix 356, but a lot more him. We'll see how this
As the
goes.
race, we were talking about him crossing the 100-point mark, and he still can. I mean, he is on 99 right now. All he needs to do is finish P10, and he will cross the 100-point mark.
Yep, I'm pretty sure, but he felt taking that hard tire gamble, like Srivatsan 10 said, he might have been looking forward for a possible win.
That does not seem very likely right now.
Yep, he's at P7. 5 laps to go.
The hard tire is not going to make him any faster. He is losing pace by the lap, and only if everybody in front of him pits can we see some sort of return.
They could, as UK on the tail of Vix 356. Can the Haas's capitalize on that mishap between Vix 356 and Big Man Joe? UK being super cautious here. Coming into turn 1. Little bit of a moment. Rocketman shot out of the pits there.
Mr. Vex, it is a wall over there. I guess there has been a mistake with our strategy analysis.
Could
I
it?
guess only the cars who started with the medium tires would have gone in for a soft change. I guess all these cars started with the soft tires,
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
and that's why they are not diving into the pits. They're gonna end their races with the medium set of tires right now.
They would have a few nervy laps, but I think they can make it work till the end.
6 seconds is the gap between Mr. Vex and the Supreme Leader.
Accelerate seems to be closing up on KDB right now. Will he overtake to take the race lead with 4 laps to go?
Could be 0.268 is the gap. Can KDB hold him off? Having quite the race, no doubt. KDB's led this race for most part of it. 4 laps to go. Mr. Vex's 6-second gap doesn't seem like it's closing. DRS for Accelerate.
We got nice last 4 laps coming in. Both these drivers on a wheel. Accelerate is on his Fanatec and KDB is also on a wheel. And these two drivers are battling it out
Yup,
for
they
the race
are.
win.
Yes, for the race win. Surprisingly, no one's crashed out at the Wall of Champions. We did see them go wheel to wheel, Vix 356 and Big Man Joe, but the Wall of Champions have been awfully kind to the drivers of the Bwoah Racing League. Round the outside, he will try Accelerate. Doesn't quite get it.
Sarthak is trying to put out another commentator's curse out there for someone to just crash at the Wall of Champions.
I
We'll want more action.
I was-
so far that has not come true. But I
Halfway
think Sarthak badly wants it
halfway
to try
through
to
that.
make my prediction come true.
Halfway through that, I was like rethinking. I was like, Shivatsan 10 or Rudra, one of them will figure it out. And Accelerate on the tail of KDB, closest they've ever been.
I think we can expect something on the main straight in this lap from Accelerate. He might have the chance with the DRS coming in.
Could have a chance indeed. Supreme Leader 19, 20 seconds away from Accelerate. so he doesn't have to worry about that. Tries round the outside, doesn't quite get it.
Aiming for a switchback, but KDB is way too ahead for that.
Let's see if he'll be able to close him. No, KDB seems to be pulling away on the main straight. Yeah, he seems to be pulling away.
Yep, the only other closest gap is Wix 356 and UK. You see them battling it out over here. UK will try, Wix 356 holding him off pretty well. Oh, down the inside.
And
He
he
got
gets
the
it done, but he's not able to go ahead. He'll have the DRS again in the main straights, and after that, so let's see what happens.
Let's see if he tries. Does he try? No, he's being cautious. He doesn't want to get DNF'd. Will he try? Nope, he did not. Holds off. Nicks Wix 356 regardless. This battle is as excruciating as the ones in front. 0.3 seconds. Meanwhile, as the gap closes in for Accelerate and KDB as well.
Accelerate is just close as ever. He might be able to take the lead.
2 laps to go.
Ooh. Tries to go on the outside, but
Doesn't quite get it.
there's a pretty interesting trend from Monaco to this race. You see, in Monaco there was a lot of difference between the podium setters and the 4th placed driver. You see a similar trend over here. Oh, Accelerate has spun. Accelerate has spun.
Yup, right on the main straight he has. He can reset himself. I don't think he remembers that.
Yeah, he just carries on.
But
Yeah, like I was talking about the trend, the gap between Accelerate and the Supreme Leader was almost 19 seconds, so he's still able to keep his position.
Yup, he has no worries there. He will finish on the podium, but a possible race win, probably.
Yeah, he just lost his possible race win. KDB seems to be set for a race win over here.
Meanwhile,
The Williams.
KDB happens to have a few more seconds of extra penalties than Accelerate, but yeah, he can hope. Let's see what happens.
Meanwhile, UK has fallen way behind his teammate as well. I'm guessing he had a bit of a moment fighting Wix 356. Setu RC18 closer than ever with Big Man Joe.
He might be able to overtake Big Man Joe given that he's on the mediums. And Big Man Joe is on the hards over here.
Hope he can accelerate around the hairpin. KDB will come along the main straight and begin the final lap of the race. With nothing to worry about. 15 seconds gap to accelerate.
The boy is just breezing away to victory, isn't he?
Yep, he is. Big Man Joe has Setu RC18, but nope, the gap has extended.
And as I said, a lot of gap between the rest of the grid and KDB and
Yes.
Accelerate, both in Monaco and over here.
Yep.
Raises the question if these people are just a league apart from the rest of the drivers over here.
True indeed. They've been racing absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Unfortunate spin by Accelerate. Setu RC18, can he do one better for the Haas team and come out on top of Big Man Joe on this last lap? It's closer than ever and we will see. Let's take a look at where KDB is. And yep, he will come around the last corner, main straight. KDB takes the win at Canada for the Bwoah Racing League.
What a wonderful race he has had. He has kept the lead from the start of the race towards the end, at least for most part of the race.
Yep.
And Williams seems to be racking up more points.
Yep, they are, regardless of that limitation in race pace. A little too close to comfort there for Accelerate as he comes across the line. P2, P3, Supreme Leader, good race no doubt. Mr. Wex, finally a good race.
To the P4, my god,
Yep.
that is something that no one expected at the beginning.
Yep, Wix 356 as well. But after penalties, Wix 356 gets P4. Big Man Joe gets P5. Setu RC18 gets P6. Mr. Wex gets P7. P8 for UK. A points finish for Mercedes AMG. Freeze gets P9. And Rusty Nish.
Thunderbird just finishing
That
just out.
joy was short-lived for Mr. Vex. I mean, I apologize if it was my curse.
As I said, the penalties played a really crucial role at the end, deciding whether
Yep.
Mr. Vex decides at P4
Yep.
or P7.
Especially for Mr. Vex, affected the most. The podium, P1 for KDB, P2 for Accelerate, and P3 for the Supreme Leader. This should make quite a bit of a change in both the standings, drivers and constructors. Regardless, the Bwoah Racing League will continue. Srivatsan 10, thank you for joining us. Quite the insight we got, both on strategies and more.
My pleasure, Sathak.
Yep, and Rudra, you too. Always fun commentating with you.
Yeah, I'm here to just hang out in the party and have fun.
For sure. Meet us in the post-race edition. Both with the fastest driver who set the fastest lap, who I'm guessing is Thunderbird, and as well as the post-race chat with our podium finishers. Cheers, everyone.